Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you're catching the replay, welcome back to Level Up for Limitless Leaders. I am your host, Simone L. Bowe, and I'm so grateful for you taking part in this series, this six-part series on how to be an authentic leader, broadcasting on a number of platforms: LinkedIn, Live, Facebook, and my YouTube channel. I can't believe we're already on part five, but here we are on part five. I'm appreciating your comments and your feedback, and I look forward to what's next after this series. And I really look forward to the difference that we will make in our environments. That is the most important thing. And it was my post for my Monday Mojo that we need to demonstrate the difference. The time is up for us complaining about leadership, complaining about our environments, complaining about what's not happening. We have to be the ones to make the difference and to be the difference. It's so important. Without further ado, I am going to get into today's topic, which is on that: how authentic leaders make a difference. It can't be where we're holding all this good information to ourselves. We have to be the ones that are contributing meaningfully to our environments. And so today I'm going to share with you how you can do that. If I can get this right. All right, here we go. How to be an authentic leader, part five. Part five is how authentic leaders make a difference. I don't know if I've shared it before, but I am a quote junkie. I love quotes. I think they are the burst in the arm that you need to make you think, to inspire and motivate. I like to write them. I like to read them from other people. So today I am sharing a couple from a few other people and one from myself. This one, to me, captures what I was just opening with. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, always about the goal. This takes us back to part one, right? This takes us back to our leadership beliefs. What do we believe a leader ought to be? What do we believe the role of the leader is? Quite often we see people chasing leadership because of the perks that it brings, because of the status, because of the circle that it puts you into. It changes your life in those external ways. But I believe that if you want to be a great leader, that it ought to be an inside job first. It ought to be, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to contribute? How do I want to be seen? What is my leadership legacy? What is the impact that I want to have in my environment? That's the whole point of being a leader. That's when we see natural leadership skills come into play, because people see a situation, they see chaos, they see solutions, and they want to make sure that it happens. And so quite often people don't set out to be a leader, but because of how they see and because of the passion and the desire that they have to see situations and people get better, they just sort of fall into the role. Now, I believe that when people begin to advance their careers, that they make conscious and intentional decisions that I want to be a leader. But even in those scenarios, you have to decide within yourself, what kind of leader do I want to be? Do I want to revert to my default of the leadership that I've already experienced in my life, that may be positive or negative? Or do I actually take the time to think about my leadership beliefs and the brand, the reputation, the legacy that I want to have and leave behind? So it's more than just a role that you play. It's about the impact. It's about the transformation that you want to see. So you always have to ask yourself as a leader, what's changing? What's changing in me? What's changing around me? You should never, as an authentic leader, be satisfied with the way things are, or as we like to call it, the status quo. We should never be satisfied. If things could be different, if we could innovate, if we could tweak, we could change processes, if we could improve morale or team building, whatever it may be in our environment and in ourselves. So here's my quote: when great leaders are present, there should be evolution and revolution. Hello, somebody. When we are surrounded by great leaders, that leader should be evolving constantly. You can't ever be that leader that says, I've arrived. There's nothing more about me that can improve or change. Scratch that. We're always changing. We should always be changing. And who around us is changing? What around us is changing? What are we disrupting? How are we innovating? How are we using curiosity and creativity in our environment to up level what we're doing? So this is a challenge for us, right? It's not about just getting this information and saying, okay, I want to be a leader. I want to be a great leader. I want to get promoted. I want to advance in my career. But it ought to be about change, and it ought to be about results. So here's what to ask yourself when you ask what's changing. What's changing about you? When you desire to be a great leader, you change. You have to change, because leadership will demand things from you that perhaps you may not have even used before. It will demand skills that you thought you didn't have to use, but now you have to refine them. You have to define them sometimes, right? Many times in leadership, you are pulled out of your comfort zone. I talked about this in previous sessions. So you may have to speak more. You may have to write more. You may have to confront more. You may have to sell more. Whatever it is that you have to do the more of that may make you uncomfortable is going to cause you to change. It will elevate your confidence. It will elevate your boldness. It will elevate your mindset. It will elevate your outlook. You may be exposed to information when you get into leadership, right? As a non-management employee, there's a certain perspective of the organization that you see. When you begin to get into leadership, you are now exposed to different levels of information, different levels of people sometimes, that changes your perspective of the organization. And this changes you. This changes your skill set. It changes your mindset, because now you have to be thinking about strategy. You have to be thinking about budgets. You have to be thinking about what are we thinking about as an organization? How are we moving forward? What are the markets? Who are our competitors, right? All of these things that you have to think about, it will stretch you. And if you are not changing as a leader, something is wrong. You have to focus on your own evolution. Next, you have to focus on others around you changing. As you evolve, the people in your circle ought to change. You should be the type of leader that also stretches your team and stretches your peer group. That you're the one that stands out in the crowd, that says, no, let's try something this way, or no, I believe that that is not the right thing to do in this particular circumstance, or I believe that there's a more peaceful way that we can debate this idea. And as you evolve and change as a leader, you should also challenge the people in your circle. You should be mentoring and investing in the people. They should feel like, because you are my leader, I have changed. I feel like I'm doing more, that I'm being more, that I'm contributing more, that maybe I am more confident, maybe I am bolder, maybe I can come and present a proposal in a meeting, or I can lead a meeting. What are you doing to help the people around you to evolve? It should never be just about you. It should never be only you in the spotlight. It should be you also from the back. There's another quote that I love. I didn't use in this particular session, but there's a quote that says, people shouldn't even know that the leader exists. They should only see your team moving forward. And sometimes it's tough, but it goes back to leadership beliefs. Do you have to always be in the front? Do you have to always be the one shining? Do you have to take all the credit? How are people around you evolving and changing? How are you inspiring them to be transformed and transformational? Thirdly, is your environment changing? Because of who you are, can you see a difference in how your department operates? Are you inspiring other departments to do things differently? Is the environment, the culture being impacted by your leadership? So when you change as a leader, things around you should change too. Now, this is not a guarantee, because sometimes we are in structures, we are in systems that have very entrenched cultures. But people should still be able to feel your difference. Because no matter what's going on around you, or no matter what, this is how we do it around here, they should see that you do it differently in your department, in your division. They should feel your difference. So, what are some tips to help you be transformational within yourself and in your environment? 2 tips this morning. 1, see solutions and opportunities. As a leader, you must be visionary. And that means you need to be able to see beyond where you are. Leaders have this very sometimes challenging role or position of being in the present, being in the now, and being in the future. This is the word I was struggling to find. Omnipresent, right? Almost like the divine. You have to be in all places at the same time. So you have to be able to look at the past, glean from the past, bring that into the present, and also how do I see what's ahead and pull that future into the present. So as a leader, as a great leader, you ought to be able to see solutions and see opportunities. People who only see problems are not leaders. Can I say it louder for the people at the back? People who only see problems are not leaders. They are pessimists and complainers. Leaders solve problems. So if you are not coming with solutions, if you are not seeing opportunities to be embraced, you are not seeing opportunities to leverage, to innovate, to create, you're not a part of the solution. Sorry to break it to you. You're a part of the problem. And in some cases, I am sad to say that some leaders are the problem. So be solution oriented. Be that risk taker, that visionary leader that transforms the environment, because you're able to see what should happen in an environment. And this leads into my second tip: be bold and strategic. So not only are you able to see solutions and see opportunities, you are able to plan for them. You're able to strategically set up plans, systems, programs, whatever is required to execute the solution or embrace the opportunity. That's one thing. But notice, you have to also be bold. It makes no sense if you have these great ideas, see these opportunities and solutions, if nobody knows about it. If you're sitting in your corner or sitting in your office complaining, nobody notices me, nobody takes my ideas, who did you tell? You have to learn how to share your ideas strategically, how to share them at the right time and in the right way. That's what transformational leaders do. And quite often, you may not get the credit. Sometimes you have to sacrifice the credit for the greater good. You may never be honored. Sometimes getting those ideas in play means that you have to make it look like it's your boss's idea. But at the end of the day, what is it that you really want? Remember in that first quote. Are you setting out to be a leader? Are you setting out for shine? Or are you setting out to make a difference? If the difference is what matters to you, all the other stuff won't. But guess what? When you set yourself apart as a transformational leader, you will be sought out. I guarantee you. So you may not get credit in that environment, but you are building experience. You are building your capacity. So people will call on you, maybe even outside your organization, to help them with their problems. And sometimes you call that what? Consultancy, entrepreneurship, whatever that may be, advisor, right? But it means that people see you now as a problem solver, a critical thinker, a bold, visionary, transformational leader. Just let that one sink in there for a minute. Ooh. Right? So here's my last quote for the morning. Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. So we're talking about transformation and we're talking about legacy. What is said and what is felt when you are not present? How are people changing? How are environments changing? How are you changing? Because of your leadership. Ready for your challenge? I hope you are. This is your challenge, your coaching challenge for this week. Assess the level of change in you, others, and your environment. What's changing and what needs to change? When you assess that, be strategic. Come up with a plan. Let me give you a hint. Senior leaders, executives, C-suite people, they're not interested in griping and moaning and hearing about the problem. They don't have time for that. They have bigger fish to fry. They want to know that you have a plan, that you have a proposal, that you can work the details, that you can have the solution that's ready to roll out. Makes their life so much easier. It adds to your value and theirs. So if you can identify what needs to change, and maybe this is something that needs to change in you. Maybe I need to look at, how am I showing up in my environment? Am I the wallflower? Am I the one waiting to be asked to dance? Or am I the one that's getting in the middle of the dance floor and saying, give me a beat? What kind of leader are you? And what needs to change? What is changing because of you? Oh my goodness. I love this topic. I love this particular topic because I believe that this is the difference that our world needs. It's scary, I know, because sometimes we are bucking against systems that do not want to change. They are strongholds in our environments. But I will continue to be the eternal optimist and believe that good will always win. Good will always outweigh the bad. And if we are consistent and if we are persistent, that we will see the change that we want to happen in our world. Next week, last part in the series. Oh, can't believe it's coming to an end. We are going to talk about authentic leaders taking action. How do we put all of the things that we talked about into action? I am so happy that I am going to have a couple of friends on the show with me live. And I believe one of them is on today. My good new buddy, Andrea Pratt Smith. I am looking forward to having you on. And of course, others that I want to invite on the platform as well. And so you stay tuned. I'm going to put some promotional information up to show you exactly who will be coming on. But I really appreciate all of you being online and following the series, and for all your positive comments and everything that you've been sharing all along. Listen, it's about time we rock our world, right? Let's rock our world. I want to shout all of you out who are watching today, who are rocking their environments. I see you out there. Andrea is there. Tersa is there rocking it in Turks. Christopher Trico is out there rocking it. Listen, let's get it. That's right. We have to. This is it. Create a revolution and some evolution. Where great leaders are, there is evolution and there is revolution. Let's get this, right? Let's get this. All right, let's do it. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. If you're watching this actually on Thursday, whenever you're watching it, listen, make it great. You are great. Let's go out and change our world. Thank you. And let's see you next week.